waiting for everyone to log on. So we're live now on YouTube and Facebook. Wonderful to see you all here coming online now. Fantastic. If you're just logging on, please let us know that you're here. We'd love to welcome you personally. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and wonderful to see you all here this morning. Just bear with us for a moment. Good morning, everyone. Just trying to log on. Right. Okay, I think we're connected with sound as well. Okay, apologies there. Just sorting out some sound issues. I just want to welcome everyone here. And great, there we go. Okay, let me say hello. Welcome back. Let's see who's on Facebook with us. Just want to welcome all our Facebookers, those who've commented. Alicia Jenks, thank you. Shirley Feldman, good morning. Larry Cohen, Arnold Orkin, David Ginsberg, Linda and Jaime, Drew, Norman Stein, Boker Tov. Wonderful morning in Africa. Manfred Kalmek, Bernice Kraus, Michael Stein, Alini Delovitz, Helen Feinstein, and Brian. And on YouTube, Vega, Ian Clemenson, Robert Levy, Boker Tov, Shelley Smith. Good morning. We've got close to 30 students here online with us this morning. It's wonderful to have you all here. Another morning in Africa. Boker Tov, Ronnie Kotkis. We're here for another session of daily learning, another session of lockdown inspiration. So it's good to see you all here. And Walken, who can believe another week? Who can believe another week? It's been a beautiful week, and I've loved our sessions of learning. Oh, look, who's here? Donna Orlovitz, good to have you online. David Sieve, good to have you online on YouTube. Some new faces coming on. Healy Lipworth on Facebook. Wonderful. If you're just logging on, please do continue to do so. And let us know in the comments that you're with us. Just say good morning or your wishes. We'd love to hear from you. It's nice to interact personally with you all. So thank you. as we conclude another week of learning, another week of daily learning, another week of lockdown inspiration. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for supporting our learning every day. Thank you for really giving me the opportunity to connect with you, which I've really enjoyed. So thank you very much for participating every day. Look who's here. Wow, Mpumalanga. Mikael, good to see you, Mikael, all the way from the deep bush of Mpumalanga. So Mikael is a medical doctor. I don't think you're a student anymore. I think you're now a doctor. And he's serving the African nation in Mpumalanga. So Mikael, we're very proud of you. And so nice to see you online with us. Gosh. So Mikael, we're here every day, 10:30. We're here every day, 10:30 for a learning session. Make sure you're back. Tomorrow not, it's Shabbos, but Sunday we'll be back here. Wonderful. And we got a great program lined up for this afternoon. We'll speak more about that. We'll speak more about that, please God, on our way out of this session this morning. So I'm asking, before we begin, like I always do, our Facebook users to like the video. Just beneath your screen, you got a like button, like it, and then also you've got a share button. If you share that video, others will get to see what you're up to. On YouTube, it's not as simple, but the Facebookers can definitely do it and spread the word. And we're learning every day, and we're connecting every day, and we're inspiring each other every day. So let's continue. I want to share with you something for this week, and it's relevant to this week's parsha. It ties into something that we're quite familiar with. We speak about the concept of blessings. You know, the concept of blessings, of brachot. And it features this week because we speak about Birkat Kohanim. One of the highlights of my Yom Tov, which I really, really missed over Pesach and over Shavuot. One of the highlights of my Yom Tov is duchening of the Kohanim. It's really something that I enjoy. I have still memories of my father running around the shul campus. We're growing up in Melbourne, running around the campus looking for me and my siblings just before Birkat Kohanim in Musaf on Yom Tov. It's like a highlight, in my mind, that we used to go out and play, but we always expected my father to come out and look for us. And he was like running around because he had to rush to get us into shul on time for Birkat Kohanim for duchening. It's really something I enjoy. Yuri Cohen actually gave us a taste of it on the pre-Shavuot Zoom program, so that was nice. But it's not the same having Yom Tov without duchening. Really not the same as having Yom Tov. I got lost. Yeah, surely I'm back. Dennis Solomons, I think you've commented, Dennis, on the wrong video. So Dennis, just log out of that video and come back to this video and you'll be on with us. So speaking about Birkat Kohanim and the highlight as a child for me. But the concept of brachot, what are the Kohanim doing? The Kohanim are blessing the people. That's the mitzvah that Aharon is given in this week's parsha, where they're given the instruction of blessing the nation of Israel with the brachot that we know, Yivarechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha, right? The brachot that we know that features in this week's parsha. And let's unpack the concept of a bracha. The concept of a bracha, obviously in this week's parsha, features through the Kohanim. The Kohanim are the ones responsible of blessing the nation. That's what they do. They bless the nation. Right? May you be blessed. May God bless you. And Hashem says, V'samu Shmi al bnei Yisrael, put my name upon the Jewish people, V'ani avorachem, and I will bless them. That's what he says. Right? So Hashem says, when the Kohanim bless the nation of Israel, I will respond to their brachas with blessings, divine blessings. Good morning, Lionel Rubin. I see you've logged on onto YouTube. Thank you for joining us. If anyone here is here from out of town, Australia, it's already Shabbos. I doubt you're here from Australia, but maybe come. We'd love to hear from you. Continuing. So what's the concept of a bracha? What's the idea of a bracha? And the truth is it only the Kohen who can give brachas? Are only Kohanim capable to give brachas? Maybe brachas can be something that can be given by anybody, to be honest. So we know that there are great tzaddikim who have the the ability, the spiritual ability to share brachas, share blessings. I had the special opportunity when I was a young boy to go past the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and he gave us a bracha. He gave us a blessing. So tzaddikim are able to give brachas, the tzaddikim are able to give blessings. In fact, on the Monday night Zoom program that we had, on the previous Monday night, this past Monday night, on the Zoom program that we had with the Jewish daughter of Hamas, the Yad Ba'achim representative noticed the picture I have behind me. The picture I have behind me is in fact me as a young boy. It's me and my brother with my father visiting the Rebbe and receiving $1, but also receiving a bracha. You see that? It's an amazing picture. I mean, this is like precious. It's precious to me, that moment. That moment is a moment when you get a bracha from a tzaddik, you get a bracha from a righteous person. So that's another area of a bracha. There's a third area of a bracha. And the third area of a bracha is what the Talmud discusses, what's called a birkas hediyot. No, it's not birkas idiot. Some people say idiot, birkas idiot. No, it's not birkas. It's birkas hediyot. What does that mean? It means that an average individual is able to give brachas. The Gemara says, don't let the bracha of a hediyot, the bracha of a simple individual, an average individual, don't let the bracha of an average individual be light, be insignificant in your life. Because the bracha of a hediyot, the bracha of an individual, is actually very, very precious. And it has amazing power. Good morning, Melissa Ganendi on YouTube this morning. Shali Stein, Shalom Triga. Good to have you all here. So the bracha of a hediyot is so powerful. It's one of the reasons why for simchas, what's the concept at a simcha, at a bar mitzvah, or a wedding, or even a bat mitzvah, or a naming? We have this tradition. We have this tradition that we always bring bottles of mashka, bottles of whiskey or vodka or other alcoholic beverages, and we pour l'chaims for people. What's the whole idea of l'chaim? Now, obviously, we don't want to talk about we're not over drinking. We're trying to keep it within context, but we share the l'chaim, right? What's that all about? Why do we have this tradition of having everyone line up and get a l'chaim? I'll tell you the answer in a moment. Linda Drew asks that the upcoming daughter of Hamas on YouTube, the upcoming daughter of Hamas should be streamed onto YouTube. So Linda, the answer is that they've requested, Yad Ba'achim and Maya have requested that we don't stream the event on YouTube or Facebook out of security and safety and protection of her own dignity. So why don't you get Zoom? It's not too complicated. Just download the app of Zoom and you'll be able to get in. It's quite straightforward. Good morning, Eric Janet on YouTube. Good to have you all here. So what's the reason? Why do we have the simpletons, the average people giving us brachas? And the answer is because when they line up in a line, when we have a simcha and people line up to say l'chaim, they give you a bracha. Lots of nachas from your children, or lots of parnasa to sustain your family, or good health. Those brachas are precious. Those are the brikas hediyot that we're talking about. The brachas of the individuals, the brachas of the average folk. And the Gemara tells us, don't look at those brachas insignificantly. Don't look at it as something small. It's something huge when we give brachas to each other. So the question of today is, what is this idea of brachas? What is the idea of blessings? And maybe we can add on a question, and that is, God's enough. God gives brachas. Why do I need kohanim? Why do I need kohanim to give me bracha? Why do I need tzaddikim and great leaders to give me a bracha? Why do I need individuals to share brachas with each other? What's that all about? So the answer is that God is teaching us a very, very important lesson about society. He's teaching us a very, very important lesson in society. I just want to comment back to Linda Drew, regarding your comment of Zoom. You don't even need to download the app. You can just put the Zoom link into your computer, which I assume is not Apple, and it will take you straight to a Zoom call. Try that. Okay, so getting back, what's the point of brachas? So the mystics tell us, our teachers tell us, that the world is made up of a mashpia and a mekabel. The mashpia means the givers, and the mekabel are the receivers. Okay, everything in this world, the mashpia and the mekabel. That's how everything works. There are the givers and are the receivers, and it's not absolute, by the way. Someone who's a giver in one instance can be a receiver in another instance, or someone who is a receiver in one instance can be a giver in another instance. They're not exclusive. They're not mutually exclusive. But there are givers and there are receivers. That's the way God created the world. Take, for example, husband and wife. That's the way biologically husband and wife come together and procreate, is by giving and receiving. Take parents and children. Parents give to their children. Sometimes the children can become the givers. So initially, when a child's very young, the parents are the givers and the children are receivers. But as the child becomes more of an adult, the child can be a giver in time, in care, in guidance, in finance. The child becomes a giver and the parents become receivers. Take this idea of students and teachers and students. So a teacher gives to the students, but eventually the student could give. We were all students once upon a time, and then we become teachers and adults who are able to pass on the information onto others. God wanted it that way. He wanted the world to be designed in such a way where there are givers and there are receivers. That's the way the world is going to run. That's the way society is going to run, with givers and receivers. How do you do that? How do we make sure that the giving process and the receiving process actually works? And there's one important tool that we need. The important tool is the tool of ahava, of love. We've got to have the tool of love. The only way transition is going to work, the only way communication between giver and receiver is going to work, if it's done out of love. Just like a husband and wife. It won't work to give and take without love. Just like a parent and children. It's not going to work for parents to give to their children or vice versa without love. So too in society, with givers and receivers, it's not going to work without love. And that's why Aharon HaKohen, who is maybe the prototype of what blessings represents, because he is the icon of blessings in Klal Yisrael and the Jewish people, the Kohanim, it says that they blessed the nation be'ahava. They blessed the nation with love. Because a condition of blessings, a condition of information, is ahava, is love. That's the key ingredient in making sure that the relationship of mashpia and mekabel, of giver and receiver, actually go hand in hand. Talk about God and the Jewish people. Let's talk about that for a moment. God and the Jewish people. But let me just pause because I want to welcome everyone here. So welcome to all that have joined us. Thank you for being here today. If you've just logged on, we'd love to hear from you. So say hello. Give us your greetings. Let us know you're here with us. We'd love to know. So let's talk about God and the Jewish people. If you have any questions, please post them here. We'd love to hear from you. So let's talk about God and the Jewish people. Who's the giver and who's the receiver? Who's a giver and who's a receiver when it comes to God and the Jewish people? Naturally, we would say that God is the giver and we are the receiver. God is the mashpia, we are the makabel. But it's not necessarily the case. In a certain way, we give to God too. When I do a mitzvah, I become the giver and God becomes the receiver. When I do a good deed, when I elevate the world around me, when I make my place more spiritual, more godly, when I make my place, Dennis Solomon, I just saw your comment coming through on the wrong date, on the wrong day. Just go to Friday, 5th of June and find us there. So when I give a gift, when I do a mitzvah, I'm the giver to God. God is receiving the energy that I do. So the giving and the receiving is something that goes across the universe, across society. And people change. They change roles. All our lives, we keep on changing roles. Now, take, for example, tzedakah, okay, finances. So tzedakah is a very sensitive thing because on the one hand, many people don't want to receive or don't want to be in need of charitable donations. They're embarrassed. They're uncomfortable. But Hashem tells us that part of tzedakah, in fact, the Halakha Ruzhiner, the Rebbe of Ruzhin says that the whole purpose of tzedakah was to create givers and receivers in society. That was the whole purpose of tzedakah. Can you imagine? God wanted it that way. You think we have, let's say, take the poor, for example. You think the poor are poor because the circumstances have dictated that. Ladies and gentlemen, the world is a lot more sophisticated than a matter of circumstances. Hashem designed the world in such a way that there are givers and there are receivers. And on the one hand, we do pray and we do ask that I should be on the receiving end, I should be on the giving end and not on the receiving end. That's true on the one hand. On the other hand, we're all on the receiving end. Aren't we all receivers in such a way? So what do we mean? We say, please God, we shouldn't be on the receiving end, we should be on the giving end. Okay, maybe it means financially. That we prefer financially to be on the giving end rather than the receiving end. But generally speaking, we are all receivers and all givers. Arnold Orkin, may you all be blessed with the bracha of Hagefen. Arnold, let us know what you mean by that. What's the bracha of Hagefen? That was your comment on Facebook. So that's the idea of the givers and the receivers, and we shouldn't shy away from it. You know, someone says to us, I want to help you out, and I want to advise you, I want to guide you, I want to mentor you. And what do we naturally say? No, I'm fine. No, don't waste your time on me. I'm okay. I don't need your help. There are better people out there who can benefit from your help. I don't need your help. We often say that. And God's saying, no, I want you to accept that. If he's offering you help, if he's offering you assistance, if he's offering you guidance, if she's offering you guidance, don't say, I'm okay without it. The whole purpose of society was to create the givers and the receivers. Again, it's not black or white. Hatzalah. Got it. Thank you. It's the receivers and the givers. And that's the message behind brachot. That's the message behind tzedakah. That's the message behind brachot as well. When the kohanim duchen and the kohanim give us their blessings, or if we go to a tzaddik and the tzaddik gives us his blessings, or if we receive a blessing from the average individual within the community, what is actually happening is that God is showing us means from one person to give to the other. Yes, could he have blessed us without them? Possibly. Could God have given us brachas without the tzaddik's intervention? Could God have given us brachas without the individual blessing me? Possibly. But God's teaching society something. He's teaching society that I want it to work in such a way where there are some people who are giving and some people who are receiving, because that's the way society is going to work. There's got to be the givers, there's got to be the receivers. And the truth is that is said on a physical level and a spiritual level. Both begashmiyot or beruchniyot. There's giving and receiving physically and financially, or with time and advice. And then there's giving and receiving spiritually. You may know Aleph. If you know Aleph, go find someone to give it to. Because your role, if you know Aleph, your role is to be a giver. So if you're a giver of Aleph, then go find someone else to give it to. Hatzalah, Gesund, Parnasa, Nachas, Hagefen. Beautiful. Thank you, Arnold. Amen. We'll say to that, Amen. And what does God say? God says, "V'samo shmiya b'nei Yisrael," and they'll put my name onto the Jewish people. V'ani avarachem, and then I will bless them. Meaning that Hashem says, if society works in such a way, where there are kohanim giving, there are people who are giving, and then there are people, the amcha, the people who are receiving, right? Physically, spiritually, on all levels, then God says, that's the model of society that I want. That's the model of society that I want. And now, V'ani avarachem. And now I'll bless them. Why will I bless them? Because society is running properly. There's a circle taking place within society, and that's what I want. And that's what I want to bless. I welcome you all here to another session of daily learning and lockdown inspiration. If you have any questions on what we've been discussing till now, feel free to post them in the chat on either Facebook or YouTube. I'd love to engage with you personally in understanding this. Now, what is the antithesis of that? What is the antithesis of the blessings that we've spoken about till now? Heaven forbid is in a case where there's conflict, where there's no shalom, there's no shalom there. So what's there? Conflict. What's there? People who are saying, I don't want to give. Or people who are saying, I don't want to receive. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone is a giver and everyone is a receiver. That's the way God wanted it. And also, another aspect. Sometimes the receivers shy away from receiving. It's through receiving that we train the giver. It's through the students in the classroom who are receiving the information, and they train the teachers to give. The more the students come into the classroom, the more teaching there'll be. The more of you that log on to Facebook and YouTube every morning for daily learning inspiration, the more of you that log on. Thank God we've got over 35 students here between Facebook and YouTube. So I thank you all for being here. But the more of you that log on, the more students, the more receivers that there are, the more givers are going to be. That's the way it is. During this Corona lockdown, we know how challenging the economic times are. And unfortunately, many have been challenged financially. And many have now needed to receive. That's true. But you know what that has done? You know what that has done? That has motivated so many givers to give. Now, I'm not wishing that on anyone. I'm not wishing challenging times or difficult times on anyone. I'm just stating a fact that when there are receivers waiting to receive, financially, spiritually, in content and academics, the teachers want to give. That's the way it is. And so sometimes we all need to be receivers. Sometimes we all need to be givers. Sometimes, on the contrary, I said before that most of us want to be givers, right? We say, Alavai, I'm on the giving end and not on the receiving end. You know the irony? When it comes to Torah content, Torah learning, we all say, I'd rather be on the receiving end than the giving end. Meaning, I'd rather join a class and listen to the teacher or to the rabbi or to the lecturer talk. I'm a good receiver. I can receive. But to teach it onwards and pass it on, that I can't do. I can't pass on. I can't teach. So I'd rather be a receiver. It's exactly the opposite of the financial scenario I gave you. The financial scenario was I'd rather always give and not have to receive in finances. In the spiritual content or the academic content, it seems to be the other way around. I'd rather be a receiver who receives information rather than a giver who gives information. And here too, the answer is God needs more givers. He needs more teachers. Just like the receivers are part of society and part of God's world, the teachers are too. And if you know, as I mentioned before, if you know Aleph, you know Bet, you know Gimel, share that, give that. Someone else can also benefit at the same time. That's the message for today. And that's the message of Birkat Kohanim. And that's the message of Be'ahava, with love, because that's the way we transmit the information. Not transmit viruses, God forbid, negativity, but transmit positivity and messages and lessons. So I want to thank you all for joining us and being part of the program, because your receiving of the information motivates me to give the information. So the more of you that come online every day to learn together motivates me to come online to give. So there you go. The chemistry is right. The givers and the receivers are coming together to make up society. So thank you for being here this morning. And I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom. This afternoon, we have a fantastic program lined up. Program lined up with the Sidman Shul team, as well as our special good friend, Chazan Levi Singer, all the way from Florida, who'll be joining our Kabbalat Shabbat. And we also have a fantastic lady, an icon of Israel's population, of Israel's society. Sivan Rahav Meir is a journalist, a TV and radio anchor in Israel. She's a shlicha on behalf of World Mizrahi. She's a dynamic speaker, a lovely lady, and powerful in terms of her society and the effects of society and her influence. So she'll be joining us for some words of inspiration. So I invite you all to join us online, 4:10 p.m., 10 past 4. You can access the Zoom links through the Shul's WhatsApp group, or it's easy to remember, www.sidshul.coza/Zoom. Again, sidshul.coza/Zoom. That's how you log on. Thank you, David C., for your message. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Okay. Thank you. That's on YouTube. I believe you. Thanks for all your wishes. Thanks for all your blessings. I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom, and we'll see you this afternoon, just after 4 o'clock. God bless. Keep safe, keep sane, and keep spiritual.